segment of Secure the Bag podcast. I'm here with the one and only Dan Fleyshman.
I like that name.
Huh?
I like that name.
He likes that name. It's so funny because we're the segment before this with Mark Brazil. It was the first time he heard the podcast name. He's like, I like that name.
Yeah. He's probably got some artwork with it on it.
Yeah.
He literally actually one of his best-selling pieces was with Secure the Bag.
Yeah. So it would make all the sense for us to get one.
He was sitting on this couch just 5 days ago.
Really? Nice. It's honestly kind of cool that to have you, to have you on the podcast right after him, because I think it's pretty congruent. You being one of the biggest in the e-commerce space in terms of different projects as an angel investor, of course. For those of you guys that don't know, although you should know, Dan Fleyshman was or is one of the youngest people to take a company public, and that was at the age of 23. And it was from this trademarking this one line.
I had the catchphrase, "Who's your daddy?"
Who's your daddy?
Yeah, 300 different products.
Wow. And I saw I went 300 different products, 55,000 different retail stores, military bases, huge contract with Starter, if I'm not mistaken.
We did 9.5 million with Starter when I was 19 years old.
Wow.
Prior to that.
Wow.
Yeah,
19.
It was a fun run.
So was this
a lot of headaches along the way, but
yeah,
that's the highlight reel.
Would you say did you kind of grow up in an environment where you were able, let's say family, was always business oriented?
I grew up in the hood. I grew up in Long Beach.
You grew up in the hood.
Yeah, we had a family making $22,000 a year for a family of 4 to work off of. So
wow,
we had less than $2,000 a month for a family of 4. So I didn't grow up with any kind of money.
Got it.
When I was in high school, I was working 3 jobs, saving up money just selling cotton candy at the stadium and working at Ruby's Diner and doing whatever I could, working for a stockbroker under the table.
Yeah.
Doing whatever I could to make money.
Yeah. And so really this book that you have here, How to Set Up Your Business for Under $1,000. I mean, less about the exact dollar amount, more the idea that, you could literally start a business with little to no money down on a shoestring budget. And there's plenty of companies that you recommend, right? Or a couple different opportunities that you recommend personally for someone to get into the entrepreneurial phase. And one of them is e-commerce.
Absolutely.
Right? And so us being in the e-commerce space and learning from you guys or from guys like you and all the other hitters in the space, right? We've been able to not only just learn a lot from you guys, but also just watch how you guys really build brands and launch projects and all that great stuff. So one thing that we want to do, or I really want to cover in this podcast, is the e-commerce, right? We want to touch on that here. We've had a couple people from that were trading stocks, a couple people that are investors. So it's awesome to have e-commerce talks on this podcast, especially. But what would you say is the main honestly, I kind of blanked out on this one. Let's see. What would be a good question?
I'd say for anyone just getting started, what would be, if you were just getting started back then, obviously things have changed a lot, since the times that you guys started compared to how things are now with social media, all the different resources we have available. What would be 3 things, 3 tips or 3 points of advice that you would give to someone that's just getting started, or even for us, obviously, because obviously we're looking to always learn and expand our knowledge and expertise. So for someone in the e-commerce space, what would be kind of some pointers for as far as just getting started?
So back in my day, we didn't have social media. It didn't exist. There was no iPhones, there was no Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, nothing existed, which is weird because it's 10 years ago. Literally 10 years ago, if I would have said any of those words, you would have looked at me like I had 2 heads.
Yeah.
Now, it's all free. Now, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, Shopify, these are free.
Yeah.
You can get set up on a WordPress.com site right now. And if you want to pay an upgrade, it's a couple $100s to go on ClickFunnels or Shopify. People have the opportunity to start a business right now. As we sit here today, we could come up with an idea together to sell Mikes.com, and we can go make a website, go trademark the name, make a corporation, make all the different social media accounts, make a bio, make some pictures, make some video. None of that costs us anything. Maybe a couple $100. We're in a situation now where anybody can come up with a business today. You don't have to be 22, 23, 24 years old. You could be 68 years old and think that, social media is behind you. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, you can just start right now for very, very, very little amount of money, like almost free.
Yeah.
So that's really what the book's about. It just shows a bunch of the different resources that are free or very cheap. So the first thing I would say is go research obsessively. Like, when it comes to my competitors, I'm a stalker.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hurt them. I love them. I have nothing. I don't try to stop them from anything. I just want to know everything. I want to know what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. I want to see what people comment, what the customer reviews are. Does it take too long to ship? Do people complain about the price point? Do they love it? If they love it, I want to know that. Like, I want to know all of it. That's free.
Yeah.
I sit on Google. I go on their Instagram. I go on their Yelp reviews. I go on their Amazon reviews, or whatever type of the business they are. And I just go read it all for free right now. As we're sitting here, I could be doing it during this podcast. I could go research my competitors in any space for free right now. I don't need to hire a private investigator. I don't need to hire a fancy accountant to go look at their financials. I just need to go online. And people make it so overwhelming of like, well, I don't know how to get into the space, or I don't know anything. There's courses that you can take to learn e-com right here, sitting in front of you. Yeah. There's events you can go to go learn. These events are $500 or $1,000, or free, or $100. Like, there is no excuse. Or you just go on YouTube and you watch all the videos from guys like you that make them. Like, the people have to go out there and research and learn, and that's the number one thing, because then you feel like you're in the game. Yeah. It's different. Like, let me give you an example. If I showed you guys a magic trick, and I was like, oh, I'm going to show you this magic trick, I'm going to make this thing disappear. Yeah. Right?
What?
When I do the magic trick, it looks amazing. Like, you get excited, right? But when you know the magic trick, it's just a basic thing that you can do at any given time.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with e-commerce. It's the same concept. Mm-hmm. Like, you can make things feel magical just by knowing the information, and people don't put in the time to go learn how to do the magic trick.
Yeah. Would you say, Dan, that the easier that it gets, the more that people feel like, hey, this is kind of, in a sense, too good to be true, or too easy to be true?
It is too good to be true.
Yeah.
Shopify and Clickfunnels are too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like, my friends that are in the e-com game, like, that have been in it the longest, they are resentful towards how amazing Shopify and Clickfunnels are. Yeah. What Russell Brunson created is magical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because just 5 years ago, 10 years ago, my friends that do 10 million, 20 million, 100 million, 200 million e-commerce sales, it used to take them 6 months to a year, and they needed like 25 different staff members to set stuff up. Yeah. Now you do it tonight. Yeah. And you just like start cloaking everybody else's ads, and you start looking and researching and copy and pasting and seeing what their funnel looks like and who's doing what, and sourcing all the products on Alibaba, and like, you just do everything like this. Yeah. When it literally took them 6 months to a year plus $100,000, $200,000, $1 million to start something, you start it with lunch money right now.
Yeah.
Like, I can go see what's the best sellers on Amazon and eBay and this and that. Go find them on Alibaba. I can have them drop shipping. I can buy them. I can do so many. I can go find people to outsource and pick and pack and ship for me. And you can do so many things. All of that was foreign 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It didn't exist. Mm-hmm. Even though the core companies, eBay, Amazon, etc., existed back then, we had no access to that.
Yeah.
You couldn't just be a drop shipper 5 years ago. You couldn't.
It's funny because
it's rocket science back then.
Yeah, I was reading Amazon's Forum 10K, and I mentioned this in the last podcast. But I was hopping on a jet one time. Like, one of my buddies got me like a Jet Smarter membership. Yep. We hop on there, and obviously, when you're doing things like that, you meet very powerful, successful people. So one of them being, was a guy named Brett, and I wish I got his contact info. That was one of the biggest mistakes I made. But he literally. He recommended I pick those up. Why? Because of what you just said. You get to understand what these companies are doing, and they really reveal it to the public, right?
They have to.
Yeah, they have to. It's public information. So, and nowadays it's like, even if these competitors of the space that you're trying to go into, even if they don't want to put out that information, you can still find it.
I can figure out how to open a mortuary, a plumbing business. There is no business. And by the way, every business has a convention, a trade show, a blog, a forum, a members bureau. Mm-hmm. Like, every version of how you can find out information is available online and live. Yeah. For any business. I'm talking about, you want to be an exterminator to kill rats? You can find that stuff. Yeah. There is nothing you can't learn online. Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah, Amazon's literally, because they list their risks of future risks or potential risks that can hurt the company, right? And literally one of the things that they said is independent, entrepreneurs or sellers who are going to realize that, hey, I don't have to only sell on Amazon. I can use something like ClickFunnels or Shopify. So that's because Amazon, they don't buy inventory, right? They have all.
They will one day.
Yeah, but they will one day, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because they're gathering all this data.
Exactly.
And they say that, hey, literally one of the biggest risks for our future potential growth is the fact that people are not going to be selling on our platform, and we're not going to be able to collect all that data that they're bringing us in there. And so, it's interesting that you say that. It's like we have all this technology, all these tools, all these resources and platforms, and all these different things that make it super possible to achieve something that might not make you a billionaire, but can give you the ability
Absolutely.
to live life on your own terms, right? And honestly, some studies show it's like 70-80 grand a year. Like you can, if you're making 70-80 grand a year from a side hustle or e-commerce business, you can afford rent, you can afford
Absolutely.
your bills, all the basic necessities, and anything above that really is just like ice on the cake, right? So what do you think is that thing that's really just stopping people from taking absolute advantage, right? Because to guys like us, I feel like we're sitting here and it's like a no-brainer, right? But to people that are watching this, and make sure you guys obviously subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment, but whether you're on YouTube or iTunes, all right? But anyways, what would you recommend to, or the people that are watching this right now, right? There's a couple of different things going on in their head that's holding them back.
Fear. That's it. The reason that we're not scared is we're not scared.
Yeah.
We're not scared because I'm not scared to fail. I don't care if I fail. If you spill that drink right now, I'll pick it up and clean it in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about. I'm not gonna be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'll take a picture with the billionaire and I'll clean a drink in front of him. I don't care. And people are too scared. They're all scared of failing. They're scared of what their uncle thinks. I don't care what my uncle thinks. I love him. I'll go fishing with him. But if I want to start fishinglures.com, I'm gonna start it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll go to the next business. And too many people are afraid to go research how to start fishinglures.com. They're afraid to go find Alibaba and go look up fishing lures and go make a WordPress.com account. Maybe they can't afford $300 for Shopify or ClickFunnels. Don't do it on WordPress for free.
Yeah.
You can't make
$97.
you can't make a Stripe account. It's free.
Yeah.
You can go get a Square card reader and have it on your phone and sell fishing lures at the swap meet. Nothing can stop you. There is no excuse. A homeless person can start right now, today.
Yeah.
Literally at the library. Go work at the library and use the free computer there.
Yeah.
Nobody cannot start an e-commerce business right now. Nobody.
Absolutely, and I would agree with 100%. Honestly, we were doing door-to-door sales, before we got into the e-commerce space. Now, I personally was, had been obsessed with making money online, right? And I was looking into a bunch of different opportunities. I tried affiliate marketing, network marketing, and it got to a point where I feel like the good thing is for me personally is like I started on early in life, and I had parents that weren't like too judgmental, and they were supportive. So I'm blessed to have that. And so I was able to experiment early on in life, whether it be shoveling snow. So I'm sure you did too back in Boston. Jimmy, I'm sure you shoveled some snow back in Boston. And it's like the idea of fear of getting rid of that fear of failure, fear of rejection, and then going into door-to-door sales. We learned that, right? We became completely comfortable with that fear of rejection, because we realized that, hey, it's nothing personal. They're just not interested in in what we got to offer. But the ability to go into the e-commerce space, which is what's so crazy, is you're able to sell to people the things that they want, right? So it's like on e-commerce or when you're advertising online, you can target people that are interested in the stuff that you already are offering, right? So it's not like you're going door to door trying to sell.
Door to door and online is the same thing. It's just online is fast forward.
Absolutely.
If I go see 100 people in person, 3 to 10 of them are going to buy something. People are scared of getting 90 to 97 no's.
Yeah.
Who cares? If you're making a $300 commission and you get 3 to 10 people a day buying something, you're making real money.
Absolutely.
On an online site, 100 people come to my site. 100 people don't buy on my site. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people buy. I'm ecstatic. That's only 2, 3, 4, 5, 6%. I'm ecstatic because I do it at scale. But if I'm making $100 a pop, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day,
Yep.
and I do that with multiple different sites, the math starts adding up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And people are scared of like, oh, I need this to be perfect and this to happen and this to happen. And why aren't people buying today? Who cares? Everybody's just too emotional. They're letting themselves, their fears get in their own way.
Yeah.
Of just starting. People will build a website or build an e-commerce site, or they'll try to make their own dress line or own custom jewelry and just never put it up. Or they'll put it up and never market it.
Yeah.
Because it's not good enough yet. It's not perfect. Who cares?
Yeah.
What do you care about Becky Sue in Georgia saying, oh, who cares? And too many people just let their emotions get in their way of not just getting started.
What about that flip side of you know, that emotional involvement where sometimes people get too emotionally involved to a product, right? So it's like, let's say they finally do launch that thing that they've been wanting to launch, right? But unfortunately, they were the only ones who wanted that product, right? There's no
have no attachment to any of them.
Right, have no attachment to it. So can you touch on that? People who start a business and they feel like, hey, this is my baby, I gotta make it work.
If you're building a brand, it's supposed to be your baby. That's different.
Yeah.
If you're making a brand, that's a different scenario, because that's something that becomes you in your life. But if you're just making a product like fishinglures.com, just not getting started is insane. If for the last 6 years you wanted to start a fishing lure company and you had this great name for it and that's your brand, that's completely different. That you have to have passion behind. That you have to care about what people say, because you will need to respond to it. Whether you agree with them or not, you need to listen.
Yeah.
If you're just starting fishinglures.com and you're just selling customrings.com, it absolutely shouldn't be any emotion to it besides yes or no answers.
Yeah.
Did this work? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did this ad work? No. Next. What people think is, when they think of it as their baby, they think nobody wants to have an ugly baby.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever met a parent that didn't have the cutest baby in the world?
No.
Literally everybody's got the cutest baby, right?
Absolutely.
And so knowing that, you have to respond with yourself. You don't have to have the cutest baby in the world. You don't. You have to make something that people care about and that they're willing to buy at the right price point. That's it. And if it doesn't work, you adjust. If that doesn't work, you adjust again. When we create ads, we might go through 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60 different ads
Yep.
for one product.
Mm.
Zero emotion to it.
Yeah.
Because it's not what we think we know. The customer dictates if it works or not.
Exactly.
That's it. And too many people are like, oh, on my first ad, they don't like it, I shouldn't even do this product.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the testing nowadays is so cheap. You can test with 20, 30 bucks a day and find out people care.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you can test with 5 or 10 bucks a day.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people they should be spending 50 to 100 bucks a day until it works.
Yeah.
I tell that to millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know you can afford running 10 grand a day. Don't. Spend 100 bucks a day.
Yeah.
And then when something works, I call it digging for oil.
Mm.
You're just digging for oil, and then when something works, then spend 5 grand a day. Then spend 10 grand a day. But until then, you're not going to learn anything more by spending 10 grand than you are with a couple $100. You're just not. Because the customers will tell you as they go to their website, if you can get 100 people on your site and nobody buys anything, you know you're wrong. If you got 100 people to your site and 6 people buy something, spend $100 a lot more often.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, like our first winner in the e-commerce space was, because at first, right, when I feel like when people thinking about e-commerce, they think they got to sell a lot of products and a lot of units to make money. When in reality, I mean, one good product can literally change someone's life forever.
Absolutely.
And so it's just that idea, like you said, right? Digging for gold is it's beautiful. Like it's the perfect way to put it. You know, also I feel like when people are just getting started, and they don't have that experimentation type of mindset, right? Like we were never really taught that in school, to be like,
right.
Hey guys, like you guys want to make something work, you guys want to make an idea work, well, try again and again. Like we in school, it's like you get a test and you have one shot to make it work, you know? So it's like this idea of failing and making mistakes it's like completely normal. Sometimes the biggest mistakes often result in the best kind of results.
Mm-hmm.
If you let's say you play around with the buttons or something like that, or you change the color of a button, all of a sudden it's more attractive to the visitors, and it's like boom, things just start flooding in. So one step that we can take it, if we want to take it one step further, how do you know you have a winner? Like, yes, when the market, and then there's people that study this concept, like how a product fits into a market. And I've actually followed a couple people that you retweet constantly on Twitter that are just studying. I'm like, wow, these guys just literally just study if a product is going to be a good fit for a market before they have to spend all this money and get emotionally attached to it.
I would recommend something really simple. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody, I'll give you an example. A bunch of my favorite successes in my life were in markets where there was a ton of competitors. When I took my company public, it was to start an energy drink.
Yeah.
We were doing clothing and licensing and barbecue sets and all this stuff, but it was really the money we raised to start an energy drink. At that time, there was 900 energy drinks on the market.
Wow.
But I saw a flaw. They all tasted like cop syrup.
Mm-hmm.
Red Bull, Monster, Rockstar, they had that thick taste to them. So I just wanted to create the best tasting drink. Found this chemist from Gatorade, because that was my favorite tasting drink.
Yeah.
He made the formula for us. We won Flavor of the Year back-to-back years. Great.
Boom. Wow.
But by doing that, I became the seventh largest energy drink in the world, 55,000 retail stores, and I went door to door, whatever.
Yeah.
Next, I do online poker. There was 550 online poker sites at the time.
Wow.
What did I see? There wasn't a cool poker site anymore because Bodog left to focus on sports. So I didn't want to be the biggest site in the world. I want to be the coolest one. Went in there. By the 10th month, we were the third biggest brand in the world. Hoverboards.
Yeah.
There was an $1,800 hoverboard and a $1,500 hoverboard. I'm like, I can afford it and I'm not going to buy that. How's a family in Albuquerque, New Mexico going to buy a hoverboard? And what if they got 2 kids?
Yeah.
You spend $3,600. That's your mortgage for the next 2 months in New Mexico. 3 months. So, what did I do? I'm going to make hoverboards that are less than half the price of that. And I'm going to add Bluetooth speakers, flashing lights, and I'm going to have 118 influencers and celebrities.
The coolest hoverboards, pretty much.
For half the price.
For half the price.
And instead of using a $9 battery like they were doing, I used a $93 battery. So mine could last you a lifetime. I could drive to Newport. These hoverboards, you know?
Yeah.
But I just looked at what happened? Best tasting drink, coolest poker site, most affordable hoverboard. Like, I didn't try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
I just made the wheel better.
Yeah.
And too many times people think they're going to go find a new product. Listen, let's do some really simple math. There's 7 billion people in the world. Do you have more than one idea a day? You do.
Yeah.
You have lots of thoughts in a day. That means hundreds of billions of thoughts happen every day. Over the course of a year, how many trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of thoughts and ideas happen? A lot. So anybody that thinks they're going to have a new idea, it's really, 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 really rare.
Yeah.
Like, really rare. It's rarer than lightning striking here 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
So, because of that, we have to get away from the emotion of like, oh, there's competitors. Of course there's competitors. There's 7 billion people. You're going to start some new idea for a clothing line?
No. There's no point in reinventing.
No. If you want to make shirts, make something, an extra cool feature. But just make your features more affordable or a higher price point or cooler marketing. You're going to make a watch, make your version of a watch, but you're not making something new. It's just not really happening anymore in our society. And as time progresses, because of the internet and because of all our resources and social networking, there's that 3 lightning bolts in a row is going to be 30 lightning bolts in a row.
Yeah.
Because we just have so much more access to each other and to information.
Yeah.
So the people who are scared, thinking that there's going to be competitors, there's absolutely competitors.
It's a good thing to have competitors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If there's no one doing it, there's a problem. Nowadays.
Yeah.
If somebody hasn't come up with something like, well, why doesn't an umbrella go 4 ways instead of 3, or why is it square instead of round? There's a reason for it, I promise. Like, whatever you think you're thinking, there's been 100 years and tens of billions of people that have died before you that could have made a square umbrella instead of a round one. There's a reason for it. Like, and it's because a square one would just the water would lay flat.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason for everything. And so a lot of times people think, oh, I can't start an umbrella company because there's too many. Who cares?
Yeah.
The good thing about 7 billion people is nobody's selling to all 7 billion people. Unless you're like Kleenex.
Yeah.
Like, there's very few products that are just everybody has. There's only a couple toilet paper brands. There's only a couple toothpaste brands. There's only some categories. There's only a couple of.
Yeah.
That's a category I would never go into. I'm never going to go fight with Colgate.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go fight with Dial soap. Like, can you? Yeah. And they'll probably buy you. You can make a niche for yourself if you're gonna be like, what's it called? Dude wipes, and you're gonna be dude wipes and focus on some fun category. But again, that's a niche, fun, cheeky thing.
And they actually are doing really well. That is a real brand.
And they're gonna get bought out.
Yeah.
You can come up with those niche things like that, but I would never go try to just start a Kleenex competitor.
Yeah.
You're gonna name another ketchup besides Heinz.
It's a tough
Heinz.
one, actually.
Heinz.
You're gonna go start a ketchup company? No. Can you? Yeah, you could, and they'll buy you and shelve you, just the same way that Coca-Cola buys 400 brands a year just to shelve them, so they keep the space to themselves. The point is, people are just afraid. They're afraid to get started, and they're limiting themselves with excuses. There's too many competitors. What if I fail? I don't have enough money. I don't know what I'm doing. None of that's true.
Yeah.
And all of it's curable, because you just go do the research. Go work for a company in the fashion space if you want to start fashion. Go work for people doing e-com if you want to do e-com. Go, like, immerse yourself in the videos that are online.
Yeah.
Just immerse yourself in the space, and you won't have a choice but to start to learn and get more comfortable. Like, if I sit there and teach you how to shoot a basketball over and over and over and over, eventually you'll feel comfortable shooting basketball in front of people.
Yeah.
Right now you don't feel comfortable with it because you didn't go on YouTube and research it. You didn't go follow Dribble too much and see him dribbling around and teaching people dribble tricks. Like, if you just started watching and researching those things, you would then evolve and feel better.
Yeah.
And people aren't spending the time to just do the research, and it's sad. It's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. I feel like same thing for here. Something that Juan and I talk about is like, it's like we see people complaining or making up excuses and stuff, but we're like, guys, like, it doesn't have to be that hard. But yeah, we can't blame them, because we also, when we were first starting off, we thought it was difficult, right? So it's like, it's cool to have you guys reinsure that fact, instead of us just saying it. People are like, oh, you're just saying it, but having multiple different people also say, hey, like, e-commerce itself, it's not that difficult of a game to play, but there is specific moves that you can make that make it a lot harder versus a lot easier, right? Like trying to sell something that nobody's buying, it's a lot harder.
It's silly. The other thing is, if you're not good at it, get a partner.
Yeah.
If you're the 48-year-old that still wants to stay a real estate job, but you want to dabble in e-commerce, go have your 22-year-old nephew put up some money for him to go do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need 50 grand. Give him a couple grand, 5 grand, 10 grand, or zero. Have your 22-year-old nephew go start it for you.
Yeah.
And you guys do some 50-50 joint venture, and let him build up your fishinglures.com. Like, if it's not you, if you're not going to be going to the conventions and the events and networking, send somebody, or go with somebody, and so you can be a social butterfly, so you can go network with them.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not you and you know it's not you, I'm not trying to twist everybody's arm to dive into the entrepreneurial space. Entrepreneurial space isn't easy.
Yeah.
It's just a much easier path than it was.
Yeah.
Because back in my days, I didn't have Gary Vee and Ty Lopez and all these guys talking to me.
Yeah.
I didn't have Andy Frisella screaming at me, telling me what to do, and like, I didn't have that. I didn't have Ed Milet raising the roof and inspiring. Like, you didn't have those things. Even just a few years ago, you didn't really have those things.
Yeah.
Now you do. Now you got guys that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars that are just paving the way for you, just telling you straight out what to do.
Yeah.
Russell Brunson is telling you how to do stuff.
Yeah, that's the incredible part.
Like, literally just telling you. Imagine if you played video games. Okay?
Yeah.
We're playing Sonic the Hedgehog. When you first play Sonic the Hedgehog, you fail for the first 3 weeks because you're just trying to figure out the levels.
Yeah.
What if Ty Lopez, Gary Vaynerchuk, Andy Frisella, and all these guys were telling you on level 1, hey, go this way, hey, jump here, hey, duck, do-do-do-do-do. Like, well, what happened? You'd go through the levels real quick because they're telling you what to do. Well, that's what's happening in real life. This is a real life video game, and they're just telling us the roadmap to go through all the levels.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. I'm not sure if there's anything. I think you were.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask, what's the thought process that you guys kind of have when it comes to finding what the unique kind of selling point should be? For example, like when you decided that you wanted to find a better tasting, like what makes you decide whether you want to go for the price, flavor, or in the poker be cooler? Like, what makes you kind of decide what to kind of go after?
The people tell me. When I see all my friends go about an energy drink, I know it tastes bad. When I see people playing poker and they're bored and there's no cool brand anymore, when I see a hoverboard and everybody says it's too expensive, see the pattern?
Yeah.
The people are telling me this thing is too expensive, or this doesn't ship on time, or this tastes like crap, or this doesn't do this, or the battery sucks. Like, I'm just making a better wheel. And I see it over and over and over. Like, when you see something taking off, when there's fidget spinners, if people are selling $20 fidget spinners, I make mine for $5.
Yeah.
That's it. People are like, oh, I don't want to spend $20 on a fidget spinner. Okay, mine's $5. Like, you just look at what products are, and it's so fast to know, because the people are telling you what the problems are. Like, you can see it yourself, but if a bunch of other people are saying, these iPhone cases suck, I wish I had a better one, or I want to make a sticky case for my car. Like, you just see what they're complaining about the other people. If they're selling for $50, you're like, I wish it was 30. Make it for 30.
Yeah.
Who cares if your margins are less? Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Because that's not your baby. In the e-com game, it's not your baby.
Yeah.
When you're building a brand, that's different, like we talked about. Like, if you guys were making Secure the Bag clothing line, or sunglasses, or let's call it bags. Let's say you're making Secure the Bag actual bags.
Yeah.
That's a brand. Much different. That you got to spend real money on, real time. It's gonna take you months of production and like designs, blah blah blah. But if you're just white labeling bags and selling securethebag.com, and that's just a bag selling site, there's no emotion to that. That should just be something you're doing over and over and over.
Yeah.
And you should be having 5-10 different companies like that are just selling those things over and over.
Yeah.
Too many times people make it emotional as if Secure the Bag should be the brand every single time, and it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how you're splitting it up between product and brand. And I think we should definitely explain to the people that are tuning in here, because they might not even know the difference, right? It's like, when we think of a product, well, whose brand is it, right? But there's obviously a couple different avenues that you can take within the e-commerce space. Like, you can do drop shipping, where you're just taking products from AliExpress, putting them onto your Shopify store. And you guys can check out our e-com incubator. You'll find the link to that below, where we cover a lot of this stuff and more. But you're just taking products from AliExpress that don't have a brand on them, a label on them. You put it on a website, and you're trying to go after a specific niche, right? And we recommend, and I want to get your thoughts on this, maybe we're missing something here, but we have this thing called the Profitable Product Index, which we tell a lot of our students or people kind of consulting, hey, pick a product that is either solving a problem, that's attached to a passion, right? Or something that's perishable, that people need to order over and over again. Would you say is that a pretty good?
That's fantastic.
Is there anything that you would add on to that, maybe?
Well, I mean, when it comes to e-com, I would sell anything that's profitable.
Yeah.
I mean, not if it's illegal or immoral, but there's nothing that people are selling in the mainstream that I wouldn't sell on e-com, because again, I can set it up so cheap and fast. I can see what's doing well, and the market dictates. If I see somebody that's selling out all the time, that's a problem. There shouldn't be any such thing as selling out in 2018. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, everything can be printed on demand, manufactured on demand, shipped really quickly.
Wow.
You just pay more. Too many times people are like, oh, we're waiting for the boat, it takes 4 to 8 weeks. So ship it on an airplane.
Yeah.
It'll be here in 3 days. Like, but our margins will go down. Yeah, but your customers will go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were shipping their hoverboards. The reason that the hoverboard game was so good for me, it was 6 to 8 weeks to get your hoverboards.
Really?
Imagine you being 13-year-old Johnny, waiting for your hoverboard for 2 months. You wouldn't even care about your hoverboard by the time it came. You would have forgot about it.
That trend's
there's
long
probably
gone.
something else too, like maybe another product that's pretty similar.
And so these guys, my competitors in the hoverboard game, they were buying it from China. As they were getting the money in, they were placing their orders. So what did I do? I was buying 5,000 to 10,000 units up front, getting it to my warehouse. If you ordered by 2 p.m., I shipped it out the same day.
Yeah.
I just solved the biggest problem. Was those people thought they were being smart. They're like, oh, we're just managing our funding better. No. When I shipped it to people, they got it within a few days. What happens?
Take a picture, go crazy.
They start posting and telling their friends, and I would get a bunch of orders from them and their friends.
Yeah.
Who better to buy my stuff than the people that already bought my stuff?
Yeah.
Who better to market for me than the people that buy my stuff? So, too many times people are short-sighted thinking they're saving money on the margins of slow shipping on a boat or whatever. Like, I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I'd rather have smaller margins and crank it out because that builds your business. Your vendors and manufacturers like you more. Your fans are out there posting and talking about you, and believe me, like, if you think your product's good, you want everybody wearing your watch or your glasses or whatever. Like, you want them rocking it because that's the people that are gonna buy it.
Would you agree, just to give people that are watching some clarity, like if you're starting off with, on a tight budget, right, for under $1,000 and you can't afford to, wholesale everything, and neither do you. I mean, honestly, I don't think you should. If you think a product is a good idea, you shouldn't necessarily wholesale right up front. I want to clarify that you should test it, right?
Absolutely.
Like you said, test it out.
But sometimes the testing happens for you. I already knew the hoverboards were tested.
Yeah.
When I was selling 8-foot teddy bears, it's because people were selling 6-foot teddy bears.
Yeah.
The 6-foot teddy bear worked, so I did a deal with Jake Paul and I made 8-foot teddy bears, and we went for it.
Yeah.
Because people already sold teddy bears.
Mm-hmm.
So the testing happened for me.
Yeah.
If the hoverboards are already selling at $1,500 and $1,800, it's gonna sell for $700. Mm-hmm. I'm not scared to gamble on that because they already did it. They already tested for me. If somebody's already doing the product that you're selling, the testing happened. If it's a top 20 on Amazon, what do I need to test it for?
Yeah.
I just need to make sure I got the right price point and I can ship it on time.
Yeah, that's the point where you're going to the comments, right? You go into comments, you're like, hey, let's find what we can solve here.
The customers will always tell you.
Yeah.
The public will always tell you because what we think doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The market doesn't care. The market has no emotion. Yeah. You might think you have the best stock or cryptocurrency or sunglasses or shoes, water bottles, snacks, anything you can think of. You might think yours is the best in the world. The market will tell you. Your friends on Facebook don't matter compared to the market.
Yeah.
Your mom telling you, patting you on the back that you made the cool sunglasses is irrelevant.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, your friends are accepting your business idea. They're not gonna buy it anyway. I learned that in network marketing real early. Yeah.
They're gonna love it or hate it automatically. They're gonna be mad at you for coming up.
Yeah.
They don't want you to succeed, or they're gonna love it automatically too much.
Yeah.
Just like with your music. If you're a rapper, your friends are gonna hate on you or love you automatically. There is no middle ground. Mm-hmm. They never say, it's okay. They say it's awesome, or he's never gonna make it.
Yeah.
Or they tell you it's awesome and then behind your back say it's not gonna make it.
Yeah.
There is no middle ground for that. The market. When you put that thing on Spotify, when you put that thing up and people are listening to it, then you know.
Yeah.
When they are tweeting at you that they like it or hate it, because people don't understand. You're not there to explain it to people in real life. A lot of times, yesterday we were doing an app launch, and one of the guys,
app launch.
Yeah, launching an app.
Yeah.
And one of the founders was trying to teach the influencer about the app. And I said, whoa. I want him to do it. This kid's got 3 million followers. He knows how to use an app. He knows how to use an iPhone. I want to watch him go through the process. Yeah. You're not going to be there to teach them in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens. You can't hold everybody by the hand and explain why your product is this or why your app is that. You need to make clarity, and you need to go through those processes to actually understand what you need to change, because you're not going to be there to hold their hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what point in time do you go from, like, because it sounds like, and that's absolutely the attitude that everyone should have, and I think we've started to adopt this idea, but we still have the tendency to, like, kind of determine ourselves, right? We're like, hey, what do you think about this problem? We're like, and we're like, okay, well, look at all this data, it's doing well, but maybe it won't do well because of X, Y, Z, right? So it sounds like for you kind of got over that, and you completely eliminated the idea of, like, entertaining something in your head for like how the majority of people do, right? Just thinking about this great idea for years and years, this great book they're gonna write for like 10 years. Right. How quick do you go from, hey, I got an idea, like you see these bears on Amazon, and you're like, hey, what's that time between you see it, you see the problem and opportunity, and testing it? How long should that phase take?
I'm a gambler, so I start on the spot. I go to GoDaddy.com. I register the domain. First, I make sure all the social medias are available for the name I want. I make sure I can find where the product is, whoever's going to make it for me. I mean, I do those things right away. Once I say I'm going, the snowball is really fast.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm talking about fast, I'm talking about hours, not days.
Hours.
Hours. Because there's not really any money involved in it yet.
Yeah.
Unless I have to go buy a really cool name, like fishinglures.com, that would be expensive.
Yeah.
But I can go get Fishing Lures 123 and get that for free.
Yeah.
I mean, not free, $10, but free essentially. Like, if we're gonna start fishinglures123.com, I can go to logobiz.com or 99designs.com, and I can have 262 people send us a logo by tomorrow morning. We pick one and say, okay, we paid $50 for that.
Absolutely.
Okay, we can start Fishing Lures 123 tonight.
You order a couple samples, you take videos from your iPhone, put a little music to it, boom, you got yourself an ad.
You got the initial social media post up.
Yeah.
I mean, how much does it cost me to drive to a lake right now and take pictures by the lake, and then go to a cabin or go to a wood table or go to IKEA and use a wood table there? Like, all these things don't cost anything. Like, creating those things is just so simple, so fast. It's like people are missing it.
So really, from my understanding, I mean, and you can add on to it too, Juan. But really, it's like a matter of fear, right? For all you guys that are watching out there, I mean, you heard it, right? From somebody that definitely wasn't born into it, somebody that came from an environment where, you know, he had to figure it all out from scratch, which is, you know, where we were at, where probably a lot of you guys are at. And so it's natural to have that fear, but you gotta understand, who cares? I mean, I feel like that's another great tagline that you could totally trademark, right? Besides who's your daddy, who cares? Because ultimately, I mean, the market determines what it is that you're trying to sell. So whether you love that thing, whether you think it's the greatest idea, whether you think it's the coolest thing that you would ever buy, it's ultimately bringing it into the market and letting
the customers dictate.
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what you think. Or who
Customer doesn't care about your margin. They don't care about your rent's due. They don't care if your great uncle is sick. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. You just make your product, ship it to them on time for the right price, and you win.
Beautiful.
And do that over and over and over.
All right, perfect. So I want to shoot a little segment for some of our higher level members, something a little bit exclusive. So we'll wrap up this podcast here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, obviously, to another segment of Secure to Bag podcast. Hopefully, I mean, honestly, we can keep going on for hours here. There's so much that we can learn from Dan and all the different projects that he's been a part of, all the different companies that, you know, he's involved in. But quite honestly, we don't want to take up too much of his time. As a matter of fact, he just got married as well, so we're lucky to even be sitting here just a couple of days literally after his wedding. I assumed he would be like on a honeymoon, which is...
We did a reverse honeymoon.
Yeah, reverse honeymoon.
We went last week.
There you go. So thank you guys so much for hopping on. Dan, thank you so much for hopping on this podcast right here. Make sure you guys obviously comment, you know, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment below your biggest takeaway. Make sure you subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, guys, thank you so much for hopping on. We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.